And welcome back, everybody, to the TV show, a show where we talk about TV each and every week. I am Jay Black, joined by Angelo Cataldi and also Rhea Hughes. Guys, I want to start with the biggest news of all. One of our fans, at the urging of Angelo Cataldi, who has been on fire with his recommendations. We're going to talk his recommendation from last week a little later in the show. But they wrote in, as Mark Rossi wrote in, and said that they have a bone to pick with Angelo. They've watched Wentworth and love it. They're at season 7 of 8 on Netflix. They found out the show goes 9 seasons, but only 8 on Netflix. They say, Angelo, now what? Got to see the ending. What does this person do?
All right. First of all, you have buried the lead. This is our first anniversary podcast. Come on, Jay Black, get in the game. It's a big day for us. And we're going to honor it throughout the show today because we've had a ball. This has been so much fun the first year. And I think we're building an audience, and I'm hoping they understand that we don't come on here to pretend that we know everything about TV. We just love it. And we try to share our love for it every week, even during writers and director strikes and all this other stuff going on, and the fact that right now we're not getting it, but anything new anyway. But yeah, here's the bottom line. I'm not sure where this gentleman is getting his information. He says in the email he has seen the first 7 of the 8 seasons of that 8 seasons that I know of Wentworth. If he were to watch the final episode of season 8, he would not be asking about the possibility of a season 9.
Okay. All right.
Never has a show closed itself more to anything further than Wentworth did in its final season. And they had these spectacular final episodes every year. But the show does not have a 9th season. Netflix has the whole thing, and the end of it is just as great as the rest of it, if not even a little bit greater. So get back to us after you've seen the final episode of season 8, and you will not be asking about a season 9.
So, Mark, there you have it. Disappointing news that there's no season 9, but exciting news that you have all the seasons and it ends spectacularly. So go check that out. And as Angela said, it is our first anniversary, and a little bit of pod news. You guys got the email on Angelo's suggestion. We brought on a new producer named Jared Clapper, who's going to be helping us grow the show. Clap for Jared Clapper.
Hey, clap for Jared.
All right, and hold on, Jay, you got to acknowledge Rhea's not on camera today.
Right.
But and honestly, that kind of takes us down a few notches in terms of visuality.
Yes, in fact, I just got a call. YouTube does not want this episode. I mean,
no,
okay. I'm just telling you, it's weird. That they know about.
Why is she not on? Rhea, why are you not on camera?
This is a female problem. So I got hung up at work a little late, and I had my hair appointment, which is literally on the corner of my house. I live in South Philly, and I thought I would have to cancel it, which is a tragedy when you have to cancel a hair appointment. And she said, let me do your color. I'll wash it out. Go do your podcast. Don't go on camera. Come back down and get your hair dried.
Okay. So it's your hair. Jay, what's your excuse for showing us your hair every week?
I just like to show off my beautiful mane of hair. I'm at the age now, guys, and it's a wonderful thing that happens for men, where in my late 40s, the fact that I have it is the only thing that matters. I don't have to do anything. I have to comb it, and everybody goes, what a nice head of hair you have. And I go, that's right. Not a comb has touched this thing. All right. So we are a year into the podcast, and Angelo had a great suggestion that we should maybe take a look back at some of the moments that have happened in the year since we started doing the podcast, 22, 23. Lots of stuff happened in the world of television. So we are going to go through our favorite show of the last year, the standout moment, our biggest disappointment, the favorite moment that happened on our show, and one prediction for next year. And Rhea, I know you had to do your hair, but do you want to jump in first and run down your list with us?
Okay, so my favorite TV show is Deadlock, and it happened later in the season. It is the funniest, smartest use of satire in it. It's a detective show based in Australia, but the two lead detectives, they took the oddball detective trope that works, Cagney and Lacey, everything, and turned it on its head. I've already watched the show twice. I
Wow.
rarely ever go back, and I love it that much. I said, let me see if I missed anything, because I think I started to race through it, and I did find some stuff. So for me, that is my favorite show that I've seen all year is Deadlocked.
Where is it, Rhea? Where can
It's
people
on
see it?
Prime. It's on
Okay.
Prime.
Great.
All right,
Awesome.
Angelo, what was your favorite show this year?
Yeah. This, I may as well just announce I'm an idiot. All right. It's not even close. I also pick a nonfiction. I'm picking a documentary too, but my favorite show, I also watched twice in its entirety. Succession.
It's my choice too. That was my choice.
It
It's not
was
the
so
first
good.
time I mention it. I talk
I
about it
don't
twice.
know why it took me so long, but man, what was it? 4 seasons?
Four seasons.
They nailed, the last season was riveting. So I went back and watched it all over again, and it just was so great. And there were so many great performances, and it was so smart that they killed off the patriarch.
Yeah.
Brian Cox character with like 4 episodes into the final season, so you could see everything that transpired. And when Sarah Shook looked at Kendall and said, "I don't think you do a good job." That was like the whole series. It was like,
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't succeed our father. You stink at it. It's like a great thing. And the documentary, I've seen a lot of great ones, but still, which I believe is on Hulu, the Michael J. Fox documentary is just fantastic. Yeah. You will love it. So check out those. Succession is on Max, formerly HBO Max.
So I'm with Angelo with Succession is the best show of the last year. And the only thing I'll add to that is something I've said many times over the course of this podcast. If you look back at the greatest dramas of the last 20 years, most of them have a good argument for being the best comedies of the last 20 years. And that includes Breaking Bad, had more funny moments than most comedies. The Sopranos, most comedies could only hope to be as funny as The Sopranos. And I put Succession up there. In fact, I don't know if it's a comedy that happens to have dramatic moments or a drama with comedic moments, but it is thoroughly entertaining.
All right, hold on. I want to pursue that a little because you do have the comedic background. Did that apply to other eras, or is this something, because you're 100% right about that. Yeah. These great shows had humor in them, which I don't remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Is this a new thing now on current generation?
I do. And like all things of the golden age of TV, Angelo, I think it comes from David Chase in The Sopranos. Because David Chase was given such a quirky leash to do what he wanted with The Sopranos. And I think that the TV thinking of the time was you had your comedy track, you had your drama track. I mean, there was moments on St. Elsewhere that you'd laugh at, but I don't think anybody would say St. Elsewhere is a laugh out loud funny show. And it was for years the preeminent drama of what network TV could produce. I think it's David Chase had a very unique outlook of the world, and he combined drama and comedy in a way. And I think it's just his lineage. I mean, Mad Men comes directly out of Sopranos. Matthew Weiner worked with David Chase. And I think most people just realized, oh, you know what? We have the power to just be entertaining. And when you have super talented people who can deliver a line, it could be a dramatic line or it could be a funny line. Nurse Jackie, another, not a show that's on the same level, but another show that functions as a comedy and a drama. It's just all, I think David Chase, when we go back in time or forward in time and say, what was the moment everything changed? It's David Chase and The Sopranos, which I still think is the best.
You're right. Deadlock, what I love about it is it's a hardcore mystery and it gets deep at times, but there are laugh out loud moments in it. It's why I love it. It I guess they call it a dramedy or whatever. It's why I love it so much.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. All right. Let's speed through the rest of these because I don't want to get too locked down on it. My standout moment this year, and then I'll go to you, Angelo, is the strike. And I stand out, I'm using the term not as a good moment, but as the moment that stands out as the most important. The strike that is afflicting all of us now mildly, but down the line tremendously. This is a thing that if they don't get it resolved, I don't think TV is able to change in a way that fairly rewards everybody. And I think that by November, December, we're all going to be feeling the lack of content. So I hope they get this taken care of soon. Totally. Angelo, what do you got?
100%. And keep in mind, Rhea and I are members of the SAG organization, and we support the strike. Right, Rhea?
Absolutely, 100%.
As long as the checks keep coming and coverage.
The problem is now I feel like my moment that I'm picking, and probably Angelo's moment, now we feel less value because it's not as important as Jay's.
No, Rhea, I don't agree. My moment is the greatest moment in TV in the year we've done it. I'm positive because it was in the greatest episode of TV in this year and one of the greatest episodes ever. Episode 6, The Bear, final with the vehicle. I'm not going to give anything else away. People may not have seen it. There is a vehicle in the final scene. And wow, I still, it's one of my favorite TV moments ever because it was such a great episode. How do you end a great episode? With something you'll never forget. And it was
absolutely.
And that's my moment. It was great.
And
moment.
I hate, this is how Angelo and I worked together for over 25 years together. It's mine. That episode, I think what we can say about it, your moment, Angelo, that was it. You know, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. It's the 7 Fishes episode. And it is spectacular. But that moment, I'm still floored by it.
Yeah, 100%. Very much so. Was if you see nothing else in the past year, see episode 6 of The Bear season 2. It's like nothing else that I've ever seen on television.
Absolutely. Biggest disappointment, Angelo, what was yours?
Everybody talked about Shrinking, and I know that it was good. And I know that even though Jason Segel is better in that than he is in Winning Time, when he plays Paul Westhead in the Lakers story on HBO. But the idea that Harrison Ford is going to win an Emmy Award for playing the very same character he has played for the last 20 years, how many more times is he going to be the grump? And people are going to go, wow, man, he blew that thing away. That was it's the same character he always plays. And I am tired of Harrison Ford. Wow. Harrison Ford playing the same guy and everybody going gaga. It's nothing he hasn't already done 1,000 times before, probably better. So now I'm just tired of Harrison Ford playing the same guy and people thinking it's great. Ugh.
You know what? I'm going to tag on to that. I have a disappointment on Apple TV as well, and that is Ted Lasso season 3, which I loved. Wow. Ted Lasso season 1 tremendously. Try to get Angelo to watch it. I enjoyed season 2. Thought season 3 did not live up to the lofty expectations of 1 and 2. I thought the ending felt rushed. I didn't understand a lot of the motivations of the characters. I love Ted Lasso. I love the characters. I still think it's a great hangout show where you're just like want to be in the presence of these characters. But season 3 disappointed me, and I think a lot of other fans. What about you, Rhea? What was your most disappointing moment?
So here's my most, I do the British segment, and I can't tell you how many people, Glenn Macnow is one of them. Glenn Macnow also loves British shows. So he and I kind of go back and forth. He's like, hey, what are you watching? I have been told by so many people who watch this show and by Glenn that I cannot be a true British critic if I don't watch Happy Valley. I have tried. I dislike it intensely. And I think that there's something wrong with me because, as I've said to Glenn, it's just too depressing and it's too dark. And he goes, that's British detective. And the Sarah Lancashire is the lead in it. And I've reviewed shows she's been in before. I like her a lot. I just vehemently dislike it. I've tried, no lie, 5 times to get into the show, and I just can't. And I know I've had people tell me that I'm completely wrong. I don't like it.
But yeah, this is very embarrassing for me because I have avoided that show, Happy Valley, because I thought it was about Penn State.
Me too. That's what it sounded like.
Maybe that's sticking in my brain.
I thought Al Pacino was going to show up as Joe Pop. That's the deal with that again.
Exactly.
I'm going to leap in with my favorite moment from this show. It's easy. It's the day Angelo came in and said, Jay, I watched Succession, and you're right. It's great. And watching your evolution as you went from someone who says, I don't want to be with these characters, to going, Roman Roy is the best character in maybe the history of TV, has been a delight to watch. And I enjoyed that immensely. So Angelo liking Succession, my favorite moment on this show.
I'm obsessed with it now. Now it's one of my all-time favorite shows. It's so weird that is. That since you mentioned Gail, I like my favorite moments in the show in the first year have been when other people from our families came on.
Yes.
Your son, Jay, Rhea, your superstar kid, Clark. Gail was on as our Succession expert for a while. And it was cool to see our offspring or my wife loving TV the way we do. Like you could see that we handed it down, or in my case with Gail, that I kind of forced her into it because otherwise I'd have to go to social events. And I'll tell you, to me, it's cool that we're handing this to the next generation and that they're already really well versed in what's going on in television.
Ah, that's sweet. I like that.
And Angelo's right about that. What I love is Clark. He kind of kiddingly says, "All right, what's my homework assignment this week?" But when we can do it together, when he and I sit and watch a show together, because he's older now and he can watch certain stuff, it like I know it's my time during the week where I'm like, we have to watch a show together, but we make it's where I got a teenager now, but it's our time, and so like I love it, brings us closer.
Ah, it's lovely. Is that your favorite moment from the show as well, Rhea?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's our thing. Like, it's kind of hard to pin him down, but I go, hey, we got to do this. It's for work. And I put the quotations around. I haven't told him that we're not getting a dime for this, so he doesn't know that, but it's okay.
Well, that's Jared Clapper. If you're listening, get us some money, pal. All right. Rio, do you have your prediction for the coming year?
For the coming year, yes, because Angelo, I was thinking of you when I saw the announcers who are going to be on the Eagles game. I hate to disappoint the audience. You are getting Tony Romo for the Eagles Patriots game. He came out recently and did a whole article where he said the criticism is people looking for clickbait. And I said to somebody today, you are going to get all kinds of eyes on this game this week because it's the Eagles coming off the Super Bowl. It's the Tom Brady game in New England. And I believe the whole country is going to realize how awful he truly is on Sunday. That is my prediction.
That is beautiful, Rhea. I like it. I can't wait for this. And I've been trying the last few months not to know what was happening. It's a reality show. It had a great first season. And I'm dying to see Welcome to Wrexham season 2.
Right.
This is the soccer team that was purchased by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, and they're trying desperately to move up the ranks. And I kind of already have a feeling I know what happens, but I can't wait to see it because it was a great first season. I have a really good feeling about season 2. So I would say that's the thing I'm looking most forward to in the next year.
So I have a prediction that does involve sports. We were talking in recent weeks about who's positioned to be the next cable bundle, the replacement for cable. And the more I think about it, the more I think YouTube, with the purchase of the Sunday Ticket from the NFL, I think they got a real good shot because they are allowing people to buy HBO through them, or Max through them. You can buy Apple TV through them. You can buy Cinemax. You can buy all these channels through YouTube and use YouTube as your hub to watch all of that. I do think that they can leverage the purchase of the Sunday Ticket into perhaps becoming the cable provider for the country. And I think we got to watch them closely because that might be the beginning of it this year as they grow. All right, so it's been a great first year, guys. Let's move on to our regular aspects of the show. I want to go through this briefly because we spent a lot of time with that. Angelo, I watched BS High twice, once with myself, once with my son. You are correct in saying that it is a spectacular documentary. You are also correct in saying that they dropped the ball a little bit in not telling us what happened on ESPN. I don't even think they had footage from ESPN. I think they were using footage that was recorded by other people and running audio over it. ESPN refused to connect. But the coach is among the most slimy individuals. My son, at the end of it, Angelo, you'll like this. He goes, Dad, I feel like I just watched the prequel to The Joker, because this guy, he was a total psychopath. So I want to say, number one, great choice of documentaries. Number two, has there ever been somebody in a documentary that didn't commit a war crime? I mean, there's like Fog of War, the Vietnam one. Like, all right, he did worse to people. Can you think of one that is more slimy than this coach from BS High?
Well, the only thing that came to my mind, there are plenty. Richard Sackler, the guy,
right, yeah,
opioid guy, Alex Murdaugh.
Oh God.
Right. But the one that it reminded me the most of was Robert Durst, because he was on the documentary on Showtime, Jinx. And as a result of his appearance there and the fact that he had to pee and went into the men's room while mic'd and confessed to the very murders they were talking about, and then ended his last 10 years or so in jail because of the confession, that is probably the only guy. Because, I mean, this guy, Roy Johnson, the coach, is not a murderer, but he is everything else. And
he's a murderer of dreams, Angelo. He murders dreams.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. The best part of this at BS High, he thinks he's knocking it out of the park. While he makes a complete ass of himself, he thinks he's killing. And that's my favorite part. By the end of it, he goes, well, I'm a superstar now. And meanwhile, everybody who saw it said, well, there's never been a bigger a-hole. I don't think but it's great. It's compelling stuff. It's really great.
One last thing before we move on from that. The coach that's his assistant coach, not the first one who figured out he was a flim-flam artist, the second one who he did the interview with him. What's his deal? Because he seemed like a regular human. He didn't seem like a lunatic.
No.
Why is he still hanging out with this guy? Like when the coach exploded and ran out of the room and he was just kind of sitting there like, well, what are you going to do? I didn't understand that guy at all. I also have to say this. I texted you this. Bohami, am I getting his name right? Bomani Jones.
Wow.
What a great commentator that guy was. Oh my goodness. He was smart, he was funny, and he cut through it all and contextualized the whole thing beautifully. Bomani Jones is a star, man. That guy was great.
Wow. He was, and the whole time he's doing it, and there was so much crazy stuff, and then he would come in with a real like moment of reality, and you just went, wow, did this guy, he knocked it out of the park. He's the guy that actually became the superstar to me by watching that documentary.
Yeah, I was like, I want to see more of what that guy has to say. Yeah, absolutely. Rhea, do you have a jerk that has appeared in a documentary?
Well, it's not a jerk. It's an institution, and I'm not making a comment about the Catholic Church, but I reviewed for you guys Vatican Girl, which was the disappearance of a 15-year-old girl in, I believe, the early 80s in Vatican City, which very few people live in. And it was 40 years old. And until this documentary came out, the Vatican had refused to ever look into it. All of a sudden, the documentary comes out and they decide to review the case. And it's just an example of, a corporation, which is what they are. They are a corporation, protecting themselves when something bad goes wrong. And this was a 15-year-old girl who disappeared from their purview. And they refused to ever investigate it until somebody shined a camera on it, which is why what TV does sometimes is so important. And I believe in it. And I've always, when I got done watching that, I was very disappointed in the Vatican. They have, did open up something, but it takes 40 years. I mean, I'm sure I don't even know if her parents are still alive. So that was mine.
Good one.
Absolutely. Yeah, very good. All right. So America's favorite segment, except for the people that like Happy Valley, British Corner with Rhea Hughes. What do you got for us this week, Rhea?
Okay, this is Who is Erin Carter on Netflix, 7 episodes. So Erin Carter is played by a Kurdish Swedish actress, which there's not a lot of those around. Evan
Oh,
Ahmad
that old
in
thing,
her
Kurdish
Oh,
Swedish.
that
So
old thing,
many. Yeah.
exactly. Here's what's amazing. I've seen her in things before. I think she's always been kind of a bit actress in stuff, but it's her first English language role. She plays a British expat. First scene, she and her toddler daughter appear to be sneaking out of England on a fishing boat where she pays a guy off. Next thing, they wind up in Barcelona. It's beautiful beach town. She's a substitute teacher. She's got a gorgeous, hot nurse boyfriend, and she and her daughter wind up in a grocery store robbery, and she takes out the robbers like a professional. It takes several episodes to figure out that she's kind of like a trained professional, although she keeps pretending to be this substitute teacher. What I'm impressed with is she repeatedly gets punched in the face and still looks absolutely gorgeous in her sundresses. And her nurse boyfriend, who apparently skipped the bruising and small cuts class in nursing school, doesn't appear to notice it. It's basically MI6 meets the PTA. It's a woman who's hiding from something with her daughter, and she's got a mysterious background. But it's done in Barcelona. She plays an British patriot, expat. It's fun. It's bingeable. Early on, Angelo, you love this. There's a hot sex scene on a tennis court, so you'll enjoy that. But it's going to take a couple episodes before you get the backstory. There's a lot of bodies that build up. Um, but I have to say, it's kind of fun, though ridiculous.
I love it. You had me at sundress, Rhea.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, she's very pretty. 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience didn't like it as much at 55, but I find it kind of fun.
All right. So what was your teen pick this week?
Teen thing was lots of fun. Somehow we decided to watch Grease. So Clark and I watched Grease. He absolutely loved it. We watched it on Prime, also available on Apple TV and Max. Has an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, so people still loved it. Here's what I learned. I never realized Grease originally was a Broadway musical. That was news to me.
Wow.
I did not know that. So I said to Clark, we watched it, and I said, I actually love Grease 2 better. And he goes, I'll be the judge of that. So the next night we watched Grease 2. That was Michelle Pfeiffer's only her second film that she had ever done.
Yep.
I loved it way more. I thought the chemistry between Michelle Pfeiffer and Maxwell Caulfield was much better. I liked the music better. When Michelle Pfeiffer does that version of Cool Rider and she sexily walks up a ladder and straddles it, I'm like, okay, I think Clark got up and walked away at that point. But we watched them both, and at the end I said, okay, which one's better? And he goes, I'm sorry, John Travolta. He goes, that's a movie star. That's what he said to me. He loved John Travolta.
There is a vast gulf in charisma between Max Caulfield and John Travolta. I have to agree with your son on that.
I like Michelle Pfeiffer better than Olivia Newton-John. I mean, the whole, and here's one thing I will say about Clark said about Grease 1. They are not the age of high school kids, since today is his first day of high school.
Yeah.
He goes, and I looked it up. Olivia Newton-John was actually 29, and Stockard Channing, who played Rizzo, was 33.
Oh, come on.
Let me just say this. Overall, Michelle Pfeiffer is one of the most beautiful women who's ever lived. But for young Jay, the moment that Olivia Newton-John shows up in the leather outfit and goes, hey, stud, I saw that when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I didn't know what heterosexuality was, but I knew I was heterosexual at that moment because I stood up like a dog when the can opener hits and went, I don't know what's happening here, but I really enjoy it. We need to have more of that. That's a huge monumental moment for young me. All right, Angelo, what is your picks for this week?
Well, I know we're running really late, and I want to see that sex scene Rhea just told us about, and who is Evan Carter. I don't have a show this week because I was kind of hoping for Project Greenlight, its third manifestation on Max, and it's not working for me. So I'm just going to recommend a phenomenal individual performance, which is keeping me watching an otherwise ordinary show. It's on Max. It's called Winning Time. It's a story of the Lakers. And the only reason you want to watch it, it's not John C. Reilly, who is kind of one note playing the owner of the Lakers. Quincy Isaiah playing Magic Johnson in the second season is even more spectacular than in the first season. And if you want to see a phenomenal TV performance, Quincy Isaiah in Winning Time is that performance.
I love Quincy Isaiah. Can I also tag in Adrian Brody as
he's great. You're right.
Pat Riley.
But Jason Segel stinks in it.
Yeah, and it's weird because Jason Segel, that entire thing is why Adam McKay and Will Ferrell aren't partners anymore. Because Adam McKay chose John C. Reilly over Will Ferrell, didn't tell Will Ferrell that. And they broke up their 20-year partnership because Will Ferrell was so hurt by that. But yeah, agreed.
Right. Ferrell's right. Unbelievable. Hey, listen, I said something earlier, and I would just now like to add to it. I love when we have guests on. Can I bring on two guests for just
somebody run behind you?
All right, yes, come over here. Where's the little Dashy? Dashy, come over here. Dash, come on. Come on up here. This is my grandson Dash. And now look up here. That's little baby Dutchy. All right.
Oh, Dash and Dutch.
And Dash, do you like to watch TV? Yes, he does. He was watching Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
He was watching. See, we're handing it down, Jay. Oh, what a family moment. It's beautiful.
But Angelo, can I just say the fear on your face? It was so funny. I saw Dash run behind you, and I go, just saw a little kid go behind Angelo. And I see you looking, and I go, it's one of the grandbabies.
These boys are awesome. I'll tell you. I get to spend more time with them now, and it's great. It's awesome.
Dash, quick question. Do you like Bluey at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Bluey. It's the best show.
He loved it. Wow. Dash will be a regular contributor in about 20 years.
Absolutely. Let's bring it on. Let's make it happen, Dash. We'll sign you to a contract now.
I got you.
Beautiful. All right. So, let's skip over the Yellowstone drama. I think that we've talked about that before. I just want to end out doing the over-under on the Eagles ratings, which we used to do all the time on the old radio show. CBS last year, for its opening doubleheader, scored 17 million viewers. That's up 21% over the year before, and the highest audience in 4 years. So huge score for CBS last year. Does the CBS 4 p.m. game with the Eagles surpass that or go underneath it? Rhea Hughes, what do you say?
Well, I want to say yes early on, just because it is the Tom Brady, God, and we all love Tom Brady except for me. But I just don't think the Patriots are a very good team. So I don't know if they're going to hold audience. So I'm going to say under.
Under for Rhea Hughes. Angelo Cataldi, football expert.
Over. I'm going to go to 18.5 million because Belichick is still, people still watch him, and the Eagles are the Super Bowl team. I'm not so positive the Eagles are going to win because they're only going to win 11 this year in the regular season. This is
Can
why
I get you as a guest on our show?
Yeah. No, Rhea, not until I'm selling the book. But I got 11 for the win. But you know what? It might be, Rhea might end up being right because Tony Romo's doing the game, so that's going to cost them some audience.
I think it's going to be over. I don't think I'll go as high as 18.5. I'm going to say high 17s for this, only because I think NFL is going to be up across the board this year. Nobody has anything to watch. It's been a super hot summer. I think everybody wants fall to get here immediately, and they're going to come out in droves next week. That is my prediction. Guys, this has been the TV show. Angelo, we talked like 35 shows. What do we got?
I'm going to try to get as many in as I can. Try to check. This is a year's work for us. Deadlocks on Prime. still is on Hulu. Succession is on Max. The Bear and Wrexham are both on Hulu. BS High is on Max. Who is Erin Carter is on Netflix. Grease is on Prime, Apple TV, and Max. And if you want to watch Quincy Isaiah on Winning Time, you could see that on Max.
Also, Dash's Bluey is on Disney Plus, and if you are a parent with kids, it's the best show to watch with your kids. It's so good. Check out Bluey. Guys, we can't thank you enough for sticking with us the whole year. We put this out every Wednesday night, regardless of if we get our hair done, or if we're in Bermuda or down at the shore. So we hope that you'll help us expand the show, increase our reach, tell people about it. And, we're so happy to have you with us. We're happy to have Jared joining the show to help us build this out. And we're going to keep doing this as long as you keep listening. So we appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
See ya.